for inspiration.
About this Jean Rosette film, Celine and Julie Go Bogan. but I want to say something about the cast, and that for someone who's not here, Barbara Blair, the executive producer, who persuaded Orion to do it, one of the things she said was, they don't want Goldie Hawn. They don't want Diane Keaton. They want $5 million, and if you don't let us do this, I'm going to quit. And indeed, we didn't want them. Maybe when we first read the script, those people came to mind who we really did want. We wanted Rosanna Arquette.
So Rosanna, do you remember, when you read the script for the first time, was it one of those things where you said, I must do this? Was it just, as different as it seemed?
The 80s is such a ball. But I remember, are you friends with Kenny Ortega? You know Kenny Ortega, who's my but he was a friend of mine, and I think he told me about it before my agent. And then suddenly I get told about the script from you, and read it, and then I thought, that's what I do. We had lunch in Santa Monica somewhere near Miramar at the time. And I remember you talking about John Denton and wanting you to do that. And I love so much the production design and how she was suddenly not, she was disco.
You shared
Right.
you shared the costume, you shared the jacket, and in the first week, the cops who were hanging around the set were all like, Rosanna, wow, and by week 4, it was like, who's that girl? Oh my God, who's that girl?
And it's obvious I'm not supposed to tell this story, but the creator, I believe, was concerned about getting the movie out quickly because they were nervous that Madonna was going to be a flash in the pan. Yeah, we had to rush for an April or May release as opposed to October because this is 85.
But we had to screen test. They didn't want Madonna. They did not. The studio didn't want Madonna. We had to screen test her. I remember they wouldn't give us any money to screen test her, so we went to
Ellen Barkin almost did it, right?
Well, they wanted Ellen, and
she knew the downtown scene. I saw Lucky Garden,
right.
and then I didn't know who she was, and then somebody said, who is that? I think Mag. Yeah, and there she was.
But what's interesting watching it again, because I had forgotten about a lot of the other cast members, was just looking at it so much like a little encyclopedia, who's who of the New York independent film world. John Laurie played and Zach. Now, and I don't know if Danny Goldberg is still here, but one of the things that was funny was that Aiden, there was a movie you were in, and it was actually the first feature that Tom.
I think at that point there was strife in the Middle East, and Arthur Krim wouldn't let us go. And so we ended up shooting in the silicate mines down right near where the Hindenburg crashed in Lakehurst, New Jersey. There's in the a mine about a square mile in this white sand, and we put people down there for a week to keep all the dune buggies from riding around. And we had to shoot it fairly early in the shoot because the other key cast members in that shot were camels. And we were riding camels in front of the pyramids, and we did an old-fashioned map painting of the pyramid. But the camels, there are only 3 camels that work in New York, and they go into Radio City before, early. So we were forced to shoot it, and I remember that actually you got thrown off of your camel. I know.
I've gotten amnesia. She doesn't seem to remember it.
And your co-star actually urged her camel on towards you, actually for a period of time. It was early in the shoot.
What was it at the end? Was it actually she said it?
No.
Role, and that you wanted them to have a sort of three-dimensional presence. Maybe something that Aidan and Mark could talk about is what it was like to be sort of the two men of note in a film made by and starring primarily women.
Well, the danger for me, of course, was to be just another pretty face. Susan worked very hard at trying to prevent that from happening. It was wonderful. I had a great time. I love women, I love being surrounded by beautiful young women, and I had a great time. And I didn't feel that, I felt that the men were treated not marginalized, and I thought they were, it was generous enough that we were not, that I wasn't playing Veronica Lake or whatever this would be,
It was groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah.
Female producers, female writers, female producers, female directors. Relying on women characters, and it was pretty groundbreaking. And ending on the two women was also an unusual one.
I want to say something about Aidan's performance because it's so important. The movie is strewn with coincidences. In fact, there's a wonderful moment, you won't remember it, Aidan, but we're at the end of the movie, we were in the bar, and she's about to get on stage, and suddenly you say to Susan, why am I surprised? She came home with the birds. I know she works here. Why am I surprised? So Susan comes over, Aidan just said, why is he surprised? And we went over, we sort of all kind of struggled with this and went over to Aidan and said, finally we just said, well, I think it's just funnier. And Aidan, who's just, such a real actor who really kind of comes, it was great that at that moment that you were willing to say, okay, I'll just go with that. It's like, doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
She has a wonderful presence in the film, and what was it like working with her on the set?
I only had one scene with her, but we hung out and we were very, very close. And she would show up at my hotel and we were around me.
Mark is probably, maybe it's things you don't want to say on stage, but.
Well, perhaps. But,
We won't go there, but.
when I was going to say, when I screen tested, I was in Los Angeles and I flew to New York on a red eye, and they said you're going to screen test with this person named Madonna. And so I came and I went to the office and I sat there, and this woman sat down next to me who I thought was a vice messenger. She had on these shorts and a bandana wrapped around her head and a ratty little script and everything. And then Susan came out and said, oh, hi, Mark, you met Madonna. And I said, oh, no, hi, how you doing? And she said, why don't you go into a room and rehearse? And so they locked us in a room to rehearse. And I'll never forget the first thing she said to me. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll never forget it. And then we came in and we did our screen test, and she misbehaved during the screen test. And remember what she did? Yeah, but and when I left after the screen test, well, we did the scene where we first meet in Danceteria, and and I was just going, oh hi, you need to see my wife. I'm really looking for my wife. And during the whole scene, she kept sort of kissing and licking the side of my face. Seemed inappropriate, but fun. So we did the screen test. We ended, and afterwards Susan thanked Madonna, and she left, and Susan said, Madonna likes you. Thank you. So that was my screen test.
questions from the audience in the front?
I didn't like when we were in it, but then I think what it started because of Madonna, you know, then suddenly you saw, wow, that was the Madonna movie. I mean, they write it in,
But, you know, Madonna was all, because Rosanna had just come from doing a movie with, you also were, you had just done a movie with Marty Scorsese, and you were just about to go to do a movie with Larry Kasdan, so it was just kind of, for you, it was sort of this funny little indie you were doing in between these sort of bigger productions, I think.
yeah, I mean, I didn't think it, I didn't think about it, and now, you know, here 25 years later, wow.
I didn't think
Well, my
it was going
attorney
to be.
said, I was 10 when I saw you.
I didn't have any sense it was going to be iconic, but I will say that looking at it now, what seemed special to me in watching it is that we were all young, you know, and but the movie is about possibilities. That's what it seems to be about when I see it now, and we were all of us so right on the cusp of something in our lives, professionally, right at that point. And there was a kind of an alchemy between, I think, the energy of all those people who, you know, have so much energy and so much imagination intersecting with a movie that was about that right at a time in New York when New York was about to reinvent itself. It was so that's my reaction to the iconic idea of things.
Do you know that, Susan?
No, I did.